Alright, thanks for tuning into a kind of a special edition of Leading Forecast. Instead of talking about what's going to happen here within the next, however many days, we're going to talk a little bit about the past couple of days with the severe weather events that have occurred across the Midwest here. Let's start off. We're going to start off with Tuesday here, which was kind of the Iowa event. This is the the synopsis map for Tuesday. You can see main low pressure area up across northeastern Nebraska. We have a warm front scenario occurring out across Iowa, dry line down across Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, with the cold front back of it. So this is going to be mainly up along your warm front here is going to be your main focus. Slight risk area you can see covered a large portion of the Midwest here, from even northwest Indiana back through Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, eastern Kansas, and southeastern Iowa. And then the 10% risk area was back out. You can see really good 10% risk here from northwestern Missouri, southeastern Iowa. Southeastern Nebraska, and southern Iowa here, and that's really where all these occurred. All your tornadoes were in that 10% risk area here, and might have had one just outside of it, but it was pretty darn close. But you can see 18 tornadoes were reported. And most of these were down across almost right on I-80, just south of I-80, along, I believe it's Highway 92 down there, right in that area. So we successfully intercepted a tornado right on 92. Our chase target was DeSoto, I believe it was called, just outside of, just west of Des Moines, and we ended up intercepting a tornado, I believe, east of Greenfield on 92. So. But here was your surface map here. This was about 22Z Tuesday afternoon. You can see warm front. Here's your low out here across northeastern Nebraska. Dry line coming down now across central Kansas, or east central Kansas and east central Nebraska, and continue down in Oklahoma. And then the warm front now across right along I-80. Basically what happened, we've seen these storms form down here basically on the Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, state line, and then they move kind of northeast or northeast at times until they hit the warm front. And the main storm that went tornado warned and actually tornadoed was this storm up here, these two storms here, and the northerly wind took a kind of almost an east-northeast storm track as it hit that warm front, and that southerly wind did the same. And those were the main two that produced tornado after tornado after tornado. Were really cyclical, and those were the main storms. It was amazing because the ones that were to the west, once they hit the warm front, they went tornado warned, and obviously produced a couple tornadoes out to the west on the state line there. But those were the main two. A lot of people saw tornadoes on those cells. This was getting into yesterday. This was the morning observations here, low pressure center. One up across northern Illinois, one across eastern Indiana, probably a little stronger one. Warm front across Ohio, draping down across the Atlantic areas, and then a big cold front coming across Illinois, down across Missouri. Going on over, moderate risk was issued down across southern Ohio, Kentucky, the Virginias, and then slight risk back into Indiana. They really did a good job at the SPC. I'm not here to say whether they did or didn't do a good job. I'm just saying they did. Only thing they might have been able to do better was pull the slight risk back further, but oh well. The reports, you can see all these reports. We did have some tornado reports down across Tennessee that were unfortunately just inside the slight risk. Didn't have a moderate risk, but some of this was a pretty large tornado. It looked like some big structural damage down there. 300, almost 400 reports yesterday of severe weather, ranging all the way from Indiana all the way out to pretty much the coast here. And so a lot of weather going on there. Here's the surface map. You can see the interesting thing I found with this was there was the initial line of storms that came through and really caused havoc down across Ohio and whatnot were dry line storms. And if you live out here across Indiana or Illinois or Ohio, you know that we don't get dry line storms. It just doesn't seem to ever happen. Honestly, I can't remember in my days of chasing for 6 years, and really beforehand, times where we've gotten dry line storms. It's I remember Western Illinois several years ago getting dry line storms, but we never did here in Indiana. And it's really weird because obviously we're used to getting storms, it storms, and then it cools down 20 degrees or 30 degrees or however. But, we got storms, and then it was warmer, just a lot drier. And then we got the cold front that came through, and storms popped along it. And you can see here, actually, two sets of storms. There's a huge set of storms all the way, basically from, Kentucky all the way up through the Virginias and Ohio. Those are dry line storms, all the way east. And then the storms back here across Indiana I circled, those are cold front storms. And so, like I said, two individual sets of storms. And then here's the cold front storms. I couldn't believe it. It was so dry out last night. This storm went tornado warned up in around Crawfordsville and produced a wall cloud, maybe a funnel. I haven't heard if anything touched down. And then this one I actually intercepted. This went through downtown Indianapolis, produced some golf ball sized hail, and just some really nice structure. Amazing structure with these storms because there's no, there's just lack of moisture. Really made them look good. And so, the thing I'm looking at this, the question I have, is this going to happen? What would have happened if we would have had more moisture to work with, regardless of whether it would have been along the cold front or the dry line? But, the thing that worries me, I really think this could end up being more of a pattern for this year. I said a while ago that I think the Midwest, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, or probably maybe even Michigan and Minnesota are going to get in on some big-time severe weather this year. I think what we normally see across Oklahoma may transfer east and northeast in a La Nina pattern this year, and with all the dry ground out west and the warm the moist ground kind of in this area from all the snow cover and rain and stuff we've had, may not only or will help with the dry line. I think it'll make it drier. So this is going to be interesting. This will be an interesting year. It almost, seeing this makes me think we might have a whole different weather pattern across the Midwest. The plains are still going to get, some storms, but I think the majority of your really bad, severe weather outbreaks will be, across the Midwest this year. So, that's just my 2 cents worth. I've said this, for a while now. The Midwest is going to be bad. So yesterday was the start of it. So that's really all I have. We'll do a leading forecast here, hopefully soon, and talk about what's upcoming right now. Looks like a lot of cold air. So anyways, that's all I have right now. I'm Swift Lead Forecaster Joseph Cooper. Have a great one.